You're listening to Swift News, your daily news briefing in just 10 minutes. This is episode 24, and it's May 27, 2025. Let's get into today's stories. Today, we're doing a deep dive, really a snapshot of our fast-moving world. We'll touch on key developments across, politics, business, tech, culture, and try to unpack what these shifts really mean for you day to day.
Sounds good. Let's start with geopolitics. Over in Ukraine, Russian forces have captured 4 villages in Sumy. They seem to be aiming for what they call a buffer zone. It's definitely escalating things.
And that obviously impacts security there. What about Putin's warning to businesses?
Right, he's threatening Western firms still in Russia, accusing them of anti-Russian actions. It puts those companies in a really tough spot, big decisions ahead for them, and affects the whole investment climate, really.
Yeah, tough calls. And speaking of navigating difficult information, in France, President Macron is pushing back against rumors about his marriage.
Exactly. He's calling it disinformation, linking it to specific campaigns. It highlights this constant challenge, doesn't it? How narratives spread online, even hitting world leaders.
Okay, let's shift to the Middle East. Some potentially positive news. Hamas agreeing to a U.S. ceasefire proposal for Gaza.
Yes, that agreement is on the table. It offers, maybe a glimmer of hope after all the displacement.
Yeah.
A huge humanitarian crisis there.
It's never simple, is it? There are reports of Israeli strikes happening almost at the same time.
That's the complexity. Reports say 14 killed in Gaza, including a mother and children. It just shows how incredibly fragile any step toward peace is right now. And Iran is also resisting U.S. pressure in nuclear talks, asserting its resilience. So multiple hot spots.
Right, a lot happening there. And North Korea, they're not happy about U.S. missile defense.
No, they condemned the Golden Dome system, called it a nuclear war scenario.
Yeah.
Quite strong language. Plus, they apparently detained officials after a naval ship launch failed. So, yeah, signs of rising tensions and maybe internal issues, too.
Okay. What about internal politics elsewhere? Bangladesh.
Well, their National Consensus Commission couldn't agree on democratic reforms. And that's led to continued civil unrest over temporary policies. It points to some deep internal struggles for stability.
Got it. And a connection being made between Turkey and Pakistan.
Yes, President Erdogan congratulated Pakistan's new Field Marshal Munir. It's seen as reinforcing their strategic partnership, especially noteworthy, perhaps, after those terror attacks in India. It suggests alliances are shifting based on, shared security concerns.
Interesting dynamic. Okay, let's move over to business and the economy. U.S. and EU trade. Still talking.
They are. The EU seems really committed to getting a trade deal done with the U.S. And this is despite, those past threats from Trump about tariffs on cars, steel, aluminum, some of which are already impacted.
So they see the value in that transatlantic link, regardless of potential friction.
Seems so. It's clearly a big part of their long-term economic thinking.
And South Africa looking to the U.S. for energy?
Yeah, quite a significant proposal. $1 billion annual deal to buy U.S. liquefied natural gas. That definitely signals a shift in their energy sources and who they're partnering with. The global energy map keeps changing.
Now, India, kind of a mixed picture economically.
A bit, yeah. Net foreign direct investment has declined, which, raises some questions about investor certainty, maybe.
But at the same time...
At the same time, Prime Minister Modi is set to announce over 77,000 crore rupees in projects in Gujarat. Big infrastructure push. And they've launched this new Bharat forecasting system. The idea is better disaster preparedness. So investment concerns, but also proactive steps.
Right. Planning for resilience. Okay, tech always moves fast. What's catching your eye?
Well, did you see the humanoid robots in China? They had a kickboxing match.
Seriously? Kickboxing robots?
Yeah. It's maybe a bit gimmicky now, but it really shows how fast robotics and AI are advancing. Gives you a glimpse of what might be coming.
Wow. Okay. Less dramatic, but maybe more impactful day to day. The EU's new digital privacy law.
Absolutely. This is potentially huge. It's set to change how tech giants handle our personal data, not just in Europe, but globally. We'll likely see changes in our online experiences, hopefully better data security. I'll have to watch how it plays out.
And speaking of global reach, competition heating up in the Arctic.
It is. As climate change opens up the region, India and China are increasingly competing for resources there, oil, gas, and those newly viable shipping routes. It's becoming a new frontier for geopolitical jockeying.
Resource races in new places, and the dual nature of AI, helpful tools, but also threats.
Exactly that. You've got Meta and Google launching new AI tools, offering new capabilities.
Hmm.
But at the same time, there's this surge in ransomware attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Healthcare, critical infrastructure getting hit hard. It's opportunity and threat side by side.
Constant vigilance needed there. Okay, let's lighten things up a bit with sports. What are the headlines?
Big news in football, or soccer for U.S. listeners. Liverpool won the Premier League title, and Stuttgart took the German Cup.
Nice. Cricket?
Sunrisers Hyderabad beat Kolkata Knight Riders in the IPL.
Basketball. Final set.
Yep, NBA Finals are locked in. Denver Nuggets versus the Miami Heat. Should be a good series.
And in tennis, a young Canadian making waves.
Yes. Victoria Mboko, a teenager, won her first ever Grand Slam match at the French Open. Great story.
Always good to see new talent emerge. Hockey update.
India's junior women's team had a win against Chile. Good result for them.
Okay, quick look at culture and entertainment. Cannes is still going.
It is. Film festival continues, lots of premieres drawing attention. Also an interesting case, Charlie Hebdo is in court over those fake pro-Russian propaganda covers.
Right, that really underscores the whole information warfare theme we see so often.
It really does. And Paris Fashion Week wrapped up with a noticeable emphasis on sustainable and inclusive trends. Seems to be a real shift happening there.
Good to hear. Music news.
Big K-pop news. BTS member Jungkook's solo album Eclipse is topping charts globally. And BLACKPINK dropped a surprise single, which always gets fans excited. Major global reach for both.
Absolutely. Okay, environment and science. What's happening? A volcano erupting.
Yeah, Kilauea in Hawaii is erupting again. High lava fountains, drawing a lot of scientific and, well, public attention. Quite spectacular, but needs monitoring.
Definitely. And severe weather impacting India.
Yes, Mumbai is facing heavy rain and thunderstorms. And down in Kerala, 11 districts are under a red warning for severe weather. Significant impact on people there.
Wow, stay safe everyone there. On a global health front.
The World Health Assembly just wrapped up. A key focus was pushing forward on a new pandemic agreement, really trying to learn lessons and build better global cooperation for whatever comes next.
That feels crucial. And a worrying sign from the Arctic.
Very worrying. Scientists are warning about accelerating glacier melt up there. It just raises more urgent concerns about sea level rise and the broader impacts of climate change. It's not abstract anymore.
No, it certainly isn't. Okay, rounding things out with some other events and human stories. FBI reopening old cases in the U.S.
Yeah, the 2023 White House cocaine case and the 2022 Supreme Court leak. Reports suggest renewed political pressure is behind reopening those investigations.
Interesting timing. Also some difficult incidents stateside.
Sadly, yes. A beach town shooting in South Carolina injured 11 people, and a major structure fire in Massachusetts required a large emergency response. Just reminders of local safety concerns.
But also stories of resilience. Japan.
Yes, a coastal town there is rebuilding after devastating floods, really highlighting community support and that human spirit to recover.
That's always inspiring to see. And one last point from India. School assemblies.
Right. An interesting diplomatic note. School assemblies highlighted Guyana's support for India's anti-terrorism efforts and also stressed the importance of India's own indigenous defense systems, so reflecting both diplomatic ties and national security focus.
It really is striking when you step back, isn't it? How all these different things, tech advances, political tensions, environmental shifts, they're not really separate buckets.
Not at all. They're deeply interconnected. You see these patterns emerging, like the scramble for resources, whether it's Arctic minerals or, influence online through information, or the constant push-pull between technological progress and the security challenges it creates. It raises some big questions about where we're heading, doesn't it?
It really does. What patterns jump out at you, the listener? What questions does all this raise for our shared future? Something to think about. That's your World in 10 Minutes with SwiftNews. The world in 10 minutes. From war zones to tech labs, stadiums to red carpets, we aim to keep you informed and inspired. Follow us for daily updates. Join us tomorrow for episode 25. Stay curious, stay informed. This is SwiftNews signing off.